Hello, this is Robert Perkins, the immigration professor, and welcome to my video about immigration reform, a very exciting topic. You can see all of our informational videos on our website, which is www.immigration-professor.com. If you have a specific question about an immigration case, please call our offices or schedule a consultation online. The telephone number of our offices is 888-439-4560. It's a toll-free number. We serve clients throughout the United States and also throughout the world. So let me start in on a very exciting topic, which is immigration reform. There is currently a bill, a bipartisan bill, making its way through the Senate. The bill number is S.744. It is called the Gang of Eight Immigration Review, the Gang of Eight being 8 senators, Democrats, 4 Republicans, who have drafted this legislation. And the legislation actually completely remakes immigration law as we know it. So what I'm going to do in this particular video is to cover the general areas that the legislation covers, and then we'll be eventually making a series of videos on the kind of different categories that I'm going to go over today. Again, you can see all of our informational videos on immigration law at www.immigration-professor.com. So in May, a key Senate committee passed this new legislation onto the full Senate. And what it does is it covers a variety of topics. One is for the people, it's estimated to be at least 11 million and maybe 20 million here illegally. It grants them what's called provisional legal status, which means they get at least the right to work and possibly the right to travel in the United States. Basically, the requirements for that status are that Department of Homeland Security has to develop a plan for a border fence on the border with Mexico to make sure that there isn't another onrush of illegal immigration. The people that are applying for this status have to document that they arrived in the U.S. prior to December 31st of 2011. They cannot have a felony, a single felony, or 3 misdemeanors. And we'll know a little bit more about that as the bill gets refined and there are regulations passed interpreting what this means, because different states have different laws. And of course, the federal government has its own set of laws on what is a felony and what is a misdemeanor. And the other requirement for what they call provisional legal status is that people pay a $500 fine. And a couple of other sort of caveats. So those are the general requirements. The way that they've kind of sectioned this, let me see if my magic eraser is working. It's working fine. Is that if you, whoops, knocked that down, but that's okay. If you have provisional legal status for 10 years, you can then apply for permanent resident status, which means a green card. And then you can apply for United States citizenship. A couple of caveats as I get my erasing materials up that are actually in the legislation. First of all, if somebody was deported and they were not deported for criminal reasons, they can actually apply to re-enter as a provisional immigrant. If they have a spouse or a child who is a U.S. citizen or permanent resident green card holder. So, or if they have been brought to the United States as a child, the so-called dreamers. So even people that are outside the United States may apply for provisional status under those circumstances. So that's kind of nice. Or people with a deportation order. Another kind of interesting caveat to provisional status is that people that are dreamers, that were brought here as youths, have a better path to citizenship. Instead of the 10-year wait to apply for a green card, they could actually apply in 5 years. So 5 years to green card for dreamers. And finally, in order to get a green card status for the provisional immigrants, they actually have to be current on their taxes, and they have to pay a $1,000 fine at the time that they seek the green card, and they have to be working and speak English. So basically, for the provisional immigrants, they have this 10-year period to work and possibly to travel. Eventually they can be permanent or green card holders, but they have to learn English and they have to make sure they're employed for a certain amount of time. So this is a major change to the immigration law. Currently in the country, there are many people that have no way to get legal, no family members that can sponsor them or employers that can, or there may be bars to them being sponsored. This would allow them to possibly get legal if they meet the requirements of being here, and then basically spend 10 years in provisional status. So that's a major change to immigration law. It's one that some members of Congress are contesting as to whether or not they want a path to citizenship for illegals, even though, of course, as you can see, it's a pretty long path to become a citizen for these people. So that's a major change. Another major change is to H-1B visas. So one is to illegals. That's the major change. The other is the H-1Bs. There's an increase in the H-1Bs. It goes up. It's currently at $60,000 a year. It's going to go up to $110,000 a year, and possibly even $180,000 depending on demand. These are for the skilled professionals, the computer people, and such that need these type of work visas to come into the United States. Presently, they've been very limited. There's a new visa called a W visa. It's for unskilled workers. Presently, there are people in the hospitality industry working for hotels and construction and some other industries where unskilled workers have traditionally been immigrants, many of those illegals. The Senate bill provides a new visa for these people, up to 200,000 of them. The next major change is to family immigration. We have the elimination of brothers and sister petitions. And then also, basically, citizens cannot sponsor kids for permanent residency unless those kids are under the age of 31. So those are the couple changes to family of immigration. Presently, the wait for a U.S. citizen to sponsor a brother or sister is around 11 years for most countries. Finally, there's a new startup visa for entrepreneurs, people that are starting new businesses. This is very exciting. The present law is very tough on entrepreneurs, so this new law offers some liberalization of those requirements. So you'll be seeing a follow-up video from me on that. And then finally, a pretty major change, there's a new merit system which uses points for visas up to 250,000 based on a variety of factors can be considered under this system. And there's also the elimination of what's called the diversity lottery. So some pretty major changes to the system. We'll go into them in further videos. You can watch all of our videos on our website, which is www.immigration-professor.com. Or if you have a specific question about your case, you can contact our offices nationwide at 888-439-4560. Thank you very much.